Greetings, and I'm here because I need help understanding how to fix the damage I've caused to my marriage and family. This is my first time posting, and it's not easy to put this into words, but I feel like I've reached a breaking point. Backstory: about 9 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life when I started an affair with someone who was a close friend of my husband's. I was also pretty close to his wife. It lasted for 6 months, and I foolishly believed that what I felt for the other man was love. My husband caught us when my phone accidentally connected to the car's Bluetooth when the other man called and he said things without knowing he was being heard by my husband. I was confronted immediately, and there was simply no denying it. In the aftermath, the truth came out piece by piece. I couldn't bring myself to tell my husband everything at first. The other man, however, confessed to his wife, and she shared everything with my husband. Now the other man is fully committed to repairing his marriage, calling the affair the biggest mistake of his life, which makes me feel even more worthless. Meanwhile, I've destroyed the trust and stability in my marriage, and my husband isn't willing to welcome me back with open arms into marriage like other man's wife did. My husband and I are still living in the same house for the sake of our 2 children, ages 7 and 4. He's moved me into the spare room, which has stopped me from co-sleeping with my 4-year-old. And while we try to keep things civil for the kids, the tension between us is undeniable. Every so often, an argument flares up, and it feels like we're stuck in this endless loop of pain and anger. I've asked him for space to process everything and figure out how I feel. I'm grieving the loss of the affair and the man I thought I loved, while also struggling with the enormity of what I've done to my husband and our family. My plate is just too full at the moment. But my husband got angry at my request for space, and it escalated into a huge fight. He doesn't understand what I mean by it, and truthfully, I'm struggling to explain it myself. I've justified my actions in the past, blaming his frequent work travel for making me feel lonely and neglected. While there's some truth to that, I know deep down it doesn't excuse what I did. He was working hard to provide for us, building the dream life we'd always talked about. Now I'm terrified I've ruined that dream life he was striving for. I want to make things right, but I don't know where to start. Whenever I express my desire to work things out, he gets so angry, hurt, and uncertain about whether he can ever trust me again. I see his pain, and it kills me to know I caused it. I've started therapy to try to understand my actions and how I can change, but I feel like I'm making slow progress. I know I've put us in limbo, and I hate what it's doing to him and the kids. He's told me that he feels like I should leave because I'm the one who broke our vows. But leaving feels like giving up on any chance of repairing what we had. I want to rebuild our marriage, but I'm also afraid that he'll never be able to forgive me or see me as anything other than the person who betrayed him. To those who've been in my position, how do I begin to rebuild trust with my husband? Is asking for space to process things selfish, or is it necessary for healing? What steps can I take to show him that I'm committed to fixing this? Don't expect sympathy. I just want to hear from others who've been here and found a way forward. Is it even possible to come back from this? Update. A while ago, I shared my story about the fallout of my infidelity, how my affair came to light, and the chaos that followed. Fast forward 3 months, and things have only grown more difficult as I am just weeks out from being a divorcee. My life feels like it's falling apart. I've lost most of my support system. Friends and family have distanced themselves, and I'm largely on my own. I even made a foolish, desperate attempt to erase parts of the past and did some stupid stuff like organizing an intervention for my husband together with my friends, which only made things worse. He was so angry and humiliated after that incident that I believe when he left home that time, he ended up at a lawyer's. He is resolute in moving forward without me. He's uncovered more of my mistakes, including a private journal I'd written during the affair. He's also found out that I tried to contact the other man through our mutual friend because I was still clinging to any hope or reassurance that my affair partner might still care for me. But the truth is unavoidable. He and his wife have reconciled and moved on. They've rebuilt their relationship, while I'm the only one being made to face consequences of my actions. The hardest part of all of this is seeing how my choices have affected our children. Our oldest is starting to understand what's happening, and the tension in the house is impossible to ignore. I know this separation is ultimately better for everyone, but the guilt I feel is overwhelming. My husband has made it clear that our marriage is over. He recently shared online that he's willing to start over again with another woman because he feels lonely as a divorced man. Reading that has made me feel some type of way, like it was a slap in the face. There were moments when I believed I could repair this, as recent as last month, but I see now that it's time to accept the end and focus on becoming a better person for my children's sake. It's not the ending I wanted, but it's the one I created. Story 2. Reflection after failed. Hey everyone, I've been lurking for a while but wanted to share some thoughts. It's been about 4 months since my STBX and I separated, and in that time, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and individual therapy. It's been messy, painful, and humbling, but I feel like I owe it to myself and to him to be honest about what I've learned. Reconciliation is a gift, not a guarantee. When I cheated, I destroyed my spouse's trust, not just in me, but in the world around him. I don't think I fully grasped the depth of what I'd done until it was too late. Betrayal doesn't just hurt someone, it fundamentally alters how they see themselves and others. I was selfish to expect forgiveness, and even more selfish to squander it when it was offered. My spouse tried to reconcile with me. He gave me a chance when most people would have walked away. I should have spent that time rebuilding trust, creating safety, and prioritizing his healing. Instead, I let my own fears and insecurities take over. I was so scared of losing him to revenge or retaliation that I made myself into a jealous, controlling mess. I questioned him constantly, picked fights over nothing, and refused to look at my own issues. I thought my pain justified my behavior. It didn't. I see now that his staying made me complacent. I took his presence as proof that things were fine, even though they weren't. I convinced myself that he'd never leave because he didn't the first time. But the truth is, he wasn't staying because he was healed. He was staying because he wanted to believe we could fix it, and I took that hope for granted. When he finally left, it hit me. The pain I'd caused hadn't faded for him, even if it had for me. He didn't heal, and I didn't help him because I wasn't ready to face myself. Looking back, I regret not taking therapy seriously from the start. I regret not being the partner he deserved in those years after D-Day. I regret that my fears, insecurities, and selfishness ended our marriage for good. If you're in reconciliation, don't take it lightly. It's not just about saying sorry or hoping time will fix things. You have to do the work, deep, uncomfortable, soul-searching work, to make sure you never hurt them like that again. And if you're the one who cheated, don't let your shame or fear stop you from showing up for them. Reconciliation is an ode, and it can be taken away at any time. Don't wait until it's gone to realize what a privilege it was to have it in the first place. Thanks for listening. I'm still working on myself, and while I'll always carry regret for what I've done, I hope I can at least use those lessons to be better moving forward. Comments. This post hit me hard. I'm in the middle of R right now, and I've caught myself slipping into that same mindset of thinking, they'll never leave. It's such a dangerous thought because it makes you lazy. I'm realizing now how important it is to keep showing up every day, to keep doing the work, not just for them, but for myself too. Thank you for this reminder. It's the wake-up call I didn't know I needed. I've been there, blaming my BS instead of owning my mess. I spent so much energy worrying about what they might do, revenge cheating, leaving, shutting down emotionally, that I never stopped to think about how my actions put them in that position to begin with. Therapy has helped me unpack that, but I wish I'd started earlier. Posts like this remind me why I need to keep pushing forward. Thank you for your honesty. This resonates deeply. My BS gave me a chance at R, and I didn't fully understand what a gift that was. I was too caught up in my guilt and fear, and instead of focusing on rebuilding trust, I made everything about me. Reading this makes me realize how much I took their grace for granted. It's painful to admit, but it's also motivating me to be better, not for them now, but for myself and any future relationships I might have.